Imperfections. I'm Ray of Sunshine. I want to tell you all about imperfections. First, I want to tell you about where I'm located, out in the woods. And you may notice that if you've seen some of my previous videos that I spent a long time in my sanctuary. All of those early videos, those before videos happened in my sanctuary or branching out a little bit onto my porch in the D section. And now we are evolving into the E section. So there's an evolution going on, and I'm showing you that process. That's what the whole video series is all about. And if you want to hear the plan, you can go to just about any one of my previous videos, because I'll explain the plan there. And I might explain it in different ways from time to time, but it's always going to be coming to the same conclusion, that basically I'm here so that you can learn about me, and by learning about me, you're going to learn about you. And why that's important is because we're all learning about us right now, and that's what I'm doing. I am learning about me, and I'm doing something different to discover something different. So this is different for me. I have a little bit of a different presentation going on, as I do with the entire array of all those rays of sunshine back there. And you can tell that I'm a little bit more blended here. I have more blended going on. In the D6 video, there was some two-tone happening, and there was other things happening too. I think it was D6, it might have been D5, but it's one of the imperfections that I was going to bring to your attention, because if you haven't seen that video, I recommend that you go see it, because you're going to notice a streak. There's a streak happening, and of course I didn't notice the streak till the whole presentation was done, and then I'm reviewing the video and I'm saying, well, yeah, I really like this, I really like that, and then I focus on the distraction. Is it a distraction, or is it a lesson that distractions are going to happen? Distractions happen for me, and I have a lot of examples of those in previous videos. Lots of examples of all kinds of off-kilter and stumbling and right on the money, all mixed up all together over there, but to show, for the simple reason of showing an evolutionary process of going from old world energy to new world energy and letting something bubble up. And I have lots of stories of all this bubbling up stuff, all kinds of endeavors that I've had in my life, just like everybody has in their lives. Stuff bubbles up, and then you become good at it, and you move on to other things. But one of the examples, and I spoke about it a couple of times over there, is calligraphy. So if you've heard some of those before videos with the calligraphy story, you're about to hear it again. But it's a good story here, because it shows a progression, and it's the same kind of idea as the progression that I'm showing on this video series. And the story that I tell about calligraphy, this was, I was like 10 years old when I first decided I wanted to try that out. That was way before the time of computers even. So I stumbled across it somewhere, the lettering in a book or something, and I decided I wanted to replicate it. So I got a marker and I started drawing them out. I didn't know there was a certain process to all that. So that was a learning process, just like any learning process with any one of these endeavors that we stumble across along the way, or that bubbles up along the way, like what's bubbling up now for all of us, which is the progression that I'm showing you, the bubbling up. So with the calligraphy example, I progressed as time went on. I became more elaborate. I reached a point where I became a master, and I was charging people hundreds of dollars for these amazing certificates with all this gold leaf and all this fancy stuff going on. And when you're doing something like calligraphy, there's no such thing as imperfections. You don't spend a week and a half on a certificate to spill the ink, or to put the wrong curl going the wrong way on one of the letters at the final moment. You don't make mistakes, or you learn how to fix the mistakes. But imperfections happen, and you learn how to fix them, or you learn how to be agreeable with them, to let them be okay. So in that D video where I have this streak happening, it had to be okay. because I'm doing something different to discover something different. And there was a time for me when that wouldn't have been okay. And now it's okay. Now it's an okay distraction, because this is all about learning about distractions. It's all about discovering how we deal with discovering different, which is the other story I talk about in every single one of my videos, and the whole progression that I show, all the different rays of sunshine over there, and all the different exposures, the different angles to consider. And that's the plan. That's the whole plan here. The whole plan here is to figure me out so that you can figure you out, because we're all in the process of figuring us out. Just like I was in the process of figuring out calligraphy and how that happened. And so then I reached the point where I became a professional, because practice makes perfect. But sometimes there's such a thing as maybe too much practice isn't necessarily all that perfect. And so in that experience, because there's a little bit of resistance going from, well, I don't know if I'd call it resistance, but there's some kind, there's an awareness, I guess, that we're transitioning. I've just transitioned from that whole D section, now moving into the E section, and so there's different things to look at, different innuendos. There's all different kind of signs and symbols of different happening, and that's what I'm exposing myself to every day, and that's what I talk about in a lot of those earlier videos, and all the different things I do every day to discover something different about me. And you can do the same thing by doing something different to discover something different about you, because we're here to discover different and how we deal with discovering different. This video, I don't know how you got it, maybe somebody sent it to you, but it comes to you here on a silver platter, and you can share that silver platter with somebody by sending this video to some character, to give them the same opportunity that you have to discover something different, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to discover something different in going back to those earlier videos, which you'll have the opportunity at the end of this video. There'll be boxes right on the side of my head, and you can click on one of those, and what's going to happen is instantly you're going to see there's a big difference, okay? Just in the appearance alone. Look at all the color I have here sprouting up everywhere, right? And look how I blend. And there's more color happening here. There's more happy happening, and I love happy happening because there's no such thing as too much happy. And I've talked about that on all those other videos too. So you can hear me repeat a lot of stuff over there, and if you're lucky, one of these days some of it's going to sink in. Anyway, that's the point of some of those stories and some of those events that I talk about in some of those previous videos. And that's what I show, which is the same evolution as the calligraphy process, becoming more perfect every time. I spoke about that. I had yesterday on the previous video, in the end of the D series, I shared a little bit of a section that I'm. Excuse me for not looking at you directly in the eyes. We could take a moment just to look at each other, if you don't mind. I'm going to keep talking so that you're not really under the impression that the video has paused. But I think it's important just to kind of be in touch with each other on a different level. And that's going to continue to happen as we move up through the series. So I have a morning affirmation right after I get out of bed, or actually I'm in bed when I go through my ritual, my good morning ray of sunshine ritual, and I spoke about that. I repeat that on a lot of those other videos too. But that's it took me a long time for that to sink in, to become my own best cheerleader and to learn how to treat myself the way I like to be treated, which I learned a lot from my best friend Sid, which I talk about on a lot of those previous videos. So there's a whole lot of reasons to go check those out. And I want to share with you, speaking of perfect, another segment of my morning affirmation. All that I am ready for is unfolding in perfect timing, right in front of me. Every single experience in my life contributes to shaping and identifying me. They contribute to bringing out the best and aligning me to exactly where I am meant to be. Get ready, new world, because I'm here to discover me. And we're all here to discover our me's. If you find me, let me know. And hopefully